Have you ever found yourself in the presence of a narcissist, watching them weave their charm, twist the truth, and leave destruction in their wake, all while seeming to escape any real consequence? You might have wondered, will they ever face the consequences of their actions? It can feel like they're always one step ahead, leaving a trail of manipulation, falsehoods, and unchecked behavior. But here's a truth that should bring you some comfort. As untouchable as they may seem, there is a higher justice at work, one that will never fail. When we look at how God works in the lives of those who live in deception and arrogance, we find that His justice is both certain and profound. You may not always see it right away, but rest assured, there are powerful ways in which God handles those who seem to evade the consequences of their actions. In this article, we'll explore 3 powerful things God always does to a narcissist, unshakable truths that demonstrate no one can outrun divine justice. It's easy to feel helpless when confronted with narcissistic behavior, watching them charm everyone around them, manipulate situations to their favor, and evade accountability. But take heart. God's ways are not ours, and while a narcissist might seem to slip away unscathed in the eyes of the world, divine truth is inevitable. When you trust in a higher justice, you realize that no one, no matter how powerful or cunning, is beyond the reach of God's wisdom and judgment. His truth is always on time, and it always prevails. In the end, we are reminded that divine justice is not just a promise, it is a reality. And that's a comforting thought for anyone who has ever felt like the narcissist is getting away with it. The ultimate reckoning is coming, and it will be just. Narcissists are individuals who hold an inflated sense of superiority over others. They view themselves as more important, more capable, and often more deserving than those around them. With this mindset, they thrive on power, seeking to control situations and people to meet their own desires. Their tactics can be subtle yet damaging, manipulating emotions and bending others to their will. However, the harm they cause is not always immediately obvious, but it can be profound, leaving deep scars on the lives of those they manipulate. Even though they hide behind a facade of charm, confidence, and allure, there are consequences that inevitably follow their actions. Narcissists may feel untouchable, thinking they can escape the repercussions of their behavior, but they cannot outrun the inevitable impact forever. What these individuals fail to recognize is that their hidden agenda doesn't stay concealed indefinitely. While they may believe they can hide their true selves, God has a way of unveiling the truth, no matter how well they mask it. Narcissists often present themselves as the epitome of perfection, donning masks of charisma and appeal to deceive those around them. They manage to fool many, weaving a narrative of being the ideal person, all the while concealing their true, self-centered nature. But despite their best efforts, a deep internal awareness lingers. The truth of who they really are cannot be fully suppressed. No matter how many layers of deceit they apply, the reality of their actions always finds a way to break through. In many cases, this exposure occurs when their behaviors begin to speak louder than their carefully constructed image. Those who have been manipulated start to see through the illusion, recognizing the cruelty and selfishness beneath the surface. At other times, it is their own words, unguarded and revealing, that betray them. Narcissists, in their need to control the narrative, often say things that expose their lack of empathy, their egocentricity, and their indifference to the pain of others. Eventually, the truth becomes undeniable, and the darkness they've hidden in is shattered. God's timing is impeccable, and when the moment arrives, the mask falls, and their true selves are laid bare for all to witness. This exposure is not just about others discovering the truth. It is also a moment of reckoning for the narcissists themselves. They are forced to confront the reality of their own behavior, something they have avoided for so long. The illusion they created crumbles, and they must face the consequences of the lives they've manipulated and the relationships they've damaged. Narcissists may have controlled the narrative for a time, but the truth always emerges more powerful, more enduring, and ultimately more revealing than the mask they've worn. Narcissists often thrive in an environment where they can maintain control and bask in the constant admiration of others. Their sense of power and superiority feeds on these illusions, allowing them to weave a web of lies, manipulate others, and inflict harm without facing consequences. However, this false sense of invincibility is destined to unravel. No matter how much they try to hide the truth, eventually it will come to light. When the truth is exposed, the carefully constructed facade they've built over time crumbles. All the hurt they've caused, the deceit they've spread, and the power they've so skillfully manipulated are laid bare before them. And as God's plan unfolds, narcissists cannot escape the consequences of their actions. The process of exposure is painful, but it is undeniably necessary for their growth and accountability. Once the truth is revealed, it's impossible for them to continue ignoring the damage they've inflicted on those around them. At the heart of a narcissist behavior lies an overwhelming belief that they are above everyone else, that they are untouchable, invincible, and immune to the trials of life. They exist in a state of self-delusion, convinced that nothing can bring them down. When everything seems to go their way, when success and admiration are constantly within their grasp, they walk through life with an air of unshakable arrogance. But sooner or later, life has a way of humbling them. It may be a failure they can't control, an unexpected event that shakes their foundation, or a situation that strips away their carefully curated image. This moment of reckoning is often a harsh one. The power they once thought they held so effortlessly slips from their hands, leaving them vulnerable and exposed. In these moments, narcissists are forced to face their limitations, something they've spent a lifetime trying to avoid. The reality of their vulnerability is a difficult pill to swallow, and they may resist it with all their might. Their pride, the very thing that has protected them for so long, now stands in the way of their growth. But even in their resistance, the humbling experience is inevitable. God does not humiliate them to cause pain, rather, it is a wake-up call, a reminder that no one is beyond humility. No matter how high they rise, no matter how powerful they feel, everyone is susceptible to failure and downfall. This humbling process is crucial. It forces narcissists to confront parts of themselves they've long suppressed or denied. These flaws, once buried deep within their psyche, can no longer be ignored. It may be a tough lesson for them to learn, but it's a lesson they cannot evade. In the end, no amount of control, manipulation, or arrogance can shield them from the truth of who they are. Narcissists will learn, perhaps begrudgingly, that the only way forward is through humility and self-awareness. The power they once wielded with ease is now replaced with the uncomfortable realization that they are no more invincible than anyone else. The harsh reality that they are not above the consequences of their actions is an inescapable truth, one that they must eventually face. Narcissists thrive on control, using manipulation, deceit, and guilt to dominate those around them. Their power lies in their ability to make others feel insignificant, to instill fear, and to ensure that their needs and desires are met without question. They build their identities around this control, creating a facade of strength and superiority. However, God has a way of dismantling this illusion. Slowly, over time, the grip that narcissists hold over others begins to weaken. People who once feared them start to see through the facade, recognizing the manipulation for what it is. They begin to stand up for themselves, reclaiming their voices and their worth. This shift is powerful. It's like a chain being broken, and with each link that gives way, the narcissist's control starts to slip. As the emotional hold weakens, the narcissist begins to realize that the power they once wielded is not as solid as they believed. The people they used to dominate no longer cower in fear or feel obligated to comply. In fact, many of them start to pull away, distancing themselves from the narcissist's toxic influence. This is when the narcissist faces the stark reality of their actions, the weight of the hurt they've caused, the damage they've done to others to keep their power intact. They're left with the painful truth that the control they thought was permanent is fading. The very people they once manipulated now see them for who they truly are, and this revelation is a hard pill to swallow. The narcissist, who once reveled in the attention and fear they generated, finds themselves isolated, standing alone with no one left to control. The world they've built around them starts to crumble as the people they used to hold close withdraw their support. In this moment of isolation, they realize just how fragile their power truly was. Without the ability to manipulate or control others, they're left in a void, a hollow space they've tried so desperately to avoid. What they thought would never slip away now falls apart, and in that emptiness they are forced to confront the reality of their own weakness. God ensures that the grip of narcissism is broken, and in the end, the narcissist is left with nothing but their own solitude. Narcissists often walk through life with a sense of invincibility, believing they are untouchable, immune to the consequences of their actions. They may think they can manipulate, control, and deceive without ever facing the truth. However, no one is beyond accountability. In the end, even the most self-assured narcissist cannot escape the inevitable. God, in his divine wisdom, has a way of revealing the truth, sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly. He humbles the proud and strips away their illusion of control. For those who have suffered at the hands of a narcissist, let this be a source of comfort. Justice will come. You may not see it immediately, and it might take time, sometimes a long time, but know this: God sees everything. He is not blind to the pain inflicted, nor to the harm caused by those who manipulate and hurt others for their own gain. No matter how hard a narcissist tries to evade the truth or hide behind their lies, they will eventually be made to face the consequences of their actions. In the end, there is no escaping the moral law of the universe. Narcissists will have to reckon with what they've done, and they will not be allowed to walk away unscathed. The truth has a way of surfacing, and when it does, it will be a humbling experience, not just for the narcissist, but for all who have been touched by their toxic presence. Remember, justice is a promise. Sometimes it takes longer than we expect, but in God's perfect timing it always arrives. Trust in his justice and in his perfect ability to right the wrongs of this world.